Turning towards the metaverse.
Talking ad nauseum about the metaverse.
There's been a lot of snark about what exactly the metaverse is.
The metaverse, a byproduct of COVID isolation, mass-produced virtual reality headsets in the burgeoning Web3 space.
If we think back a couple of years, we had, huge companies investing in metaverse divisions and hiring chief metaverse officers and whole strategies around it.
Banks started opening branches in the metaverse. Celebrities made headlines buying property in the metaverse. ETFs around the metaverse trade started popping up.
We were all still sort of under pandemic lockdown. So there was over-exuberance in metaverse because people were looking to socialize and it wasn't that easy to do in real life.
At the peak of the metaverse hype cycle, Citibank estimated the space could hit $13 trillion in valuation by 2030. Microsoft threw its hat in the metaverse ring. Even Web3 and crypto projects capitalized on the trend, with decentralized metaverses like Decentraland and Sandbox.
People would take this sort of idea of a digital asset, apply that to the 3D virtual worlds, and huzzah, you've got the metaverse.
But when it comes to the metaverse, no one stakes their claim on the space more than Facebook.
Facebook is announcing its name change officially, now changing its corporate name to Meta.
The next platform and medium will be even more immersive, an embodied internet where you're in the experience, not just looking at it.
This goofy, doofy image. It's seared into everyone's collective consciousness when they think about the metaverse, even 4 years after its launch. The metaverse, as envisioned by Mark Zuckerberg, was just one of those vague Silicon Valley ideas that nobody concretely understood. At the center of the metaverse was Horizon Worlds, the flagship VR universe that was to usher in a new era of social connection. On the surface, Facebook had the social network effects and the money to execute the tried and true, if you build it, they'll come method. But it wasn't to be. The average person wasn't ready to meet and interact with their friends in a virtual reality-enabled world. So the big question here is, what happened to Zuckerberg's metaverse?
Why do you think the metaverse didn't take off? Why was that a colossal failure?
Well, it's because look, Zuckerberg's version of the metaverse is that no one has legs. Like, everyone looks like Nintendo Wii characters and stuff, and it's goofy. Where you look at like something like
PlayStation Home, that shit was way better than the metaverse, like 1,000 times better than the metaverse. I'm talking about fat cribs everywhere, parties, all kind of shit going on. You could roll in a casino, bet big money. I'm talking about slots, whatever, dice, all of that. Like, man, this shit was wild. All kind of meta games. This shit had malls on it. It had dance clubs. I'm talking about you name it, and it was on this motherfucker. I'm talking about all kind of shit. Niggas had cribs with swimming pools, TVs. Niggas was throwing parties, watching pornos. We in the group chat with the hoes. I'm talking about getting on the game, flexing at the club, going to the bowling alley with your crew, pulling out motorcycles and all kind of crazy shit. You could shoot pool, bowl. It was arcade games. It was so much shit on this game that you could play. It was ridiculous. You can customize your character. You could customize your clothes. You could customize your crib. I'm talking about, it was so much shit to spend money on this game. It was ridiculous. I don't know how this game left. But this shit was way better than the metaverse. Point blank, period. 1,000 times better than the metaverse, man. Shout out PlayStation Home. Shout out everybody that was on home, the whole community.
Sony's vision for a platform with a sense of community was certainly admirable, but it seems like they forgot about one small, tiny, itty-bitty thing. Internet users are, by and large, dicks. Not you, watching at home right now, of course, you're all right, but everyone else isn't. Although on paper, PlayStation Home seemed rather popular, with 1 in 3 PlayStation 3 owners using Home and 1.7 million repeat users as of 2010, the fact of the matter was that many of that 1/3 booted up the platform once, waited a very long time to be loaded into an area or queue for a virtual game, got a bit confused about what it was supposed to be, and then never touched it again. Those who stayed were in the minority and tended to fall into one one of two camps: the folks that took the platform quite seriously and used it as Sony intended, and trolls.
Pause.
The idea of PlayStation Home wasn't due to a lack of effort on Sony's part. In fact, they did their absolute darndest to get people interested. In June 2010, they released a virtual replica of their E3 booth on the platform, which showcased a load of different games for the Vita and gave users rewards for their engagement. On April 20th, 2011, a 1.50 version of PlayStation Home was released, which implemented dramatic improvements to both the graphics and the physics of the platform. They also brought in The Hub in November 2011, which introduced more games, as well as an activity board and a user-generated content system, and the option to watch full-length movies free of charge. Alas, PlayStation Home just ended up feeling like a half-baked version of Second Life or The Sims, and it became a gathering place for people who wanted to mess with one another. Conversations between the PlayStation Home faithful would frequently be interrupted by impromptu dance parties, and men would go around hitting on women who, more often than not, turned out to be men themselves.
Nah, we wasn't falling for that.
He has been owned, I would say.
The world consisted of the Home Square, which was sort of a central hub for people to meet and chat, and 5 distinct districts: Action District, Sports Walk, Adventure District, Pier Park, and Indie Park. Each district showcased different genres. For example, FPS fans would be right at home in the Action District, whilst fans of indie titles would have had more fun in Indie Park. In addition to visiting Home Square and each of the districts, users could take on quests which they could complete in order to earn rewards, and these would usually involve visiting certain places or playing one of the different minigames that were on offer. The whole concept sounds quite interesting, but I do have to wonder how on earth it came about in the mid-2000s. Admittedly, the likes of Habbo Hotel and Second Life had their fans, but what made Sony think they needed their own metaverse? What came to be PlayStation Home actually started out life as an online lobby for PS2 game The Getaway Black Monday, but with online PS2 users being somewhat rare, the idea ended up being repurposed for the PlayStation Network on PS3. PlayStation Home was officially announced in March 2007 during a keynote presentation from then SCE Worldwide Studios president Phil Harrison. Based on that announcement, it seems Sony firmly believed that the platform was the future of gaming. According to Izumi Kawanishi, corporate executive and chief technology officer of software at SCE, this is a significant step forward into the area of user community services and emergent entertainment experiences. While the 3D graphics demonstrate the power of PS3 and the PlayStation Network, the most impressive feature in Home is the variety of ways in which multiple consumers, as well as our third-party partners, can experience the next generation of communication by interacting and sharing among each other. I feel strongly that this unique blend of community, user-generated content, collaboration, and commerce will expand the future